Hi, everyone. A lot of people have been asking this question that's been coming up over and over again. What's if my husband isn't providing? He's not working, he's looking for a job, it's just not enough, and I'm at a loss. So in this podcast, we delve deep into what you can do about it and how you can really help yourself and your husband and your entire family with the powers that you naturally have by just being a woman. This common question keeps coming up of, yeah, that's all nice and dandy, but what if my husband doesn't make any money? Or what if my husband doesn't have a job? Or if he's looking for a job? Or if I'm the main breadwinner and it's so hard for me? This question keeps coming up over and over again.
Meaning, what's the question though? Like,
the question
in response to your approach to finances, you're saying?
An approach to my mindset, an approach to manifesting, almost like there's like this anger, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, this is the lot in which I'm in. It's not my fault. I can't change anything. This is in someone else's hands. They have to work on themselves. They have to change. They have to fix everything so that I can be better and comfortable. And then I can manifest.
Okay. So they can only manifest once. The issue is that they're waiting to manifest once the stars align, but the stars aren't aligning because they're not manifesting.
Exactly. So I guess the question is like, how come, someone else is like, is in charge of their fate? And also can I manifest for someone else?
Right. So go back to like our first podcast, like we talked about that in the sense of improving relationships. Now we're talking about it
in finance. Yeah. So basically, it's like really, when it comes down to it, people really don't like this answer because it puts all the energies back into themselves, and it's so much easier to point blame on someone else. And when someone else does something, then you'll be comfortable. But really, everyone else is messengers. We live in a energetic world that's masked and physical. And so we're here to manipulate energy and upgrade energy. And the way that happens is through other people. People come in as energetic beings.
It's really like Bishvili
Nivra. Right. So everyone's a messenger. So if you look at your husband as a messenger, he's just helping you fine tune yourself. So it's not about when he's going to make money, when he's successful, then I can blah, blah, blah. So
I can respect him.
I can respect him. Right.
Up to him. I can admire him.
Maybe.
Only once he provides, then I'll admire him.
Exactly. Maybe the whole point is that you have to learn how to love a person like without any conditions.
Right.
Maybe you need to see somebody for who they are just as a human being. Maybe you need to learn how to trust yourself more. Maybe you need to find happiness in the small details of life and not just assume that once you have money, everything's going to be fine. What do you actually want?
Right. And also, where is the desire for the money coming from?
Right.
Yeah, I think that's also a big part of it, is that if it's coming from a place of needing to fit in and belong and be accepted by other people, it's all basically your entire existence when you're in that state is tying your happiness to other people, right? I'm not going to be happy until my husband provides for me. I'm not going to be happy until the people around me accept me and I feel like I'm part of the crowd. I'm not going to be happy until I have what everyone else has. And so you're just miserable. But the reason why you're having none of those things is because of those mindsets.
Right. So Nasanal actually just asked me the other day, he's like, I saw a video when a lady said that when you're not supposed to want the thing, when you don't want it, that's when the manifestation happens. He's like, Yaeli, could you explain that to me? Like, I don't understand it. So I told him, I'm like, we are supposed to come into wholeness. That's how we are. That's what Hashem wants from us. Everybody, all the existence is supposed to be from within. So when you're so whole, everything else is just a cherry on top. It's not something that when you get that, then you will feel whole. So we have to work on feeling so good, so whole, so happy that when you get the money, it's just extra.
Right.
Like, it doesn't define me. It doesn't define you. Yeah. Is it amazing? It's amazing. Is it fun? It's so much fun, but it's just an energetic source, and it's a highlighter. It will just show you what kind of person you are. That's what it is.
I think that people would say in response to that, just playing devil's advocate here, people would say in response to that is, okay, but what about the people who it does define them and they still have it, right?
Right.
So they got the money.
Right. So some people every person has a different challenge. The soul came down into this world to gain balance. And for some people, they need to have the money for their life's challenge and mission. So Hashem gave it to them as a tool. So that's what that was their starting point. For someone else, their starting point was not to have it so they can learn how to redeem their soul through not having it, and then they'll get it. Right. So everyone has a different challenge when it comes to their, let's say, money measurements. And also different people have different challenges. Yeah. People think that, especially in our Jewish world, where everything's so beautiful and glossy and like no one has problems, but like really everyone has problems. And it's just, we just don't talk about it. We mask everything so much. And yeah, Purim's coming, and our whole theme for Purim is unmasked, because like I'm so passionate about this. Like, why do we have masks all the time in our world? Like, right. Let's just unmask ourselves and see ourselves for who we are and call a spade. And then when we can do that, then we actually can get stuff done, you know? So people think that like, oh, she's going on vacations, she's buying things, she's buying matching clothes for her kids. Okay, but like, you don't know what's going on in their bedroom. You don't know if one of their kids is on medication.
You don't know what their childhood was like.
Yeah, you don't know their childhood. Exactly. Like, yes. Thank you. You know, I mean, like, I remember when I was dating and I went to my friend's house, and she was getting engaged, and like, I thought I was never going to get married, because like, who was going to marry me? And I saw, and my friend we're sitting in her closet, and she was showing me all her engagement outfits and what she's wearing for the l'chaim, and they're all like gorgeous. My eyes were popping out of my face. I think they actually popped out. And like, not only did I not think I was ever going to have those outfits, I never thought I was going to have a husband. Like, okay. So in those moments, like, I wasn't comparing myself to that. Like, this was my place in life. This is what I had, and this is what she had. And now all of a sudden, it's different. It changed. It's not like that anymore. And, you know, we really can't look at each other and think like, oh, but she has this, but she doesn't have, like, you don't know the whole person's package, you know?
You really don't. And I think that's the biggest mistake people make, is really, instead of focusing inward, they're focusing outward. So that's what it is. So you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. So you're constantly feeling the lack you have to other people.
I think it's even deeper.
You can't, it's like comparing apple, like it's a different path. It's not your path. It's not the path that you're supposed to lead.
Right. And I also think a lot of people think that external, superficial things are their definition. Right. They don't know who they are. So if they have the matching clothes, and if they have this, then that's them. Right. But maybe you're being called to go deeper and to figure out what you are and who you are and what you want. You know, right. Who are you? Right. Who are you? So maybe Hashem is not giving it to you because he wants you to go on a journey to figure out who you are.
Right. Like if you grew up with, right, and then you get married and then you have without, that's a very tough transition people make. And maybe that's part of it, is that they so define themselves by being someone who had money, and then they have to learn who they really are.
Right. And who are you? When you strip it all away, when everything goes down, who are you in the core?
And you have to learn.
And it's very hard. Yeah. I don't like that. They just want to be able to just go swipe their credit card and have their husband pay for it. I understand that. Everyone wants that. That makes sense. Right. But if you don't have it, there's a reason why.
Right. Confessions of a Shopaholic, right? Like they just want that, like, that person who's just like, here's my credit card. And then,
right. And then
like, not everyone wants that, but the people who do, yeah.
I feel like in the DMs, I'm getting a lot of these like complainers, but like, what's it doing for you?
It's more victims than complainers. That's how I see it.
No, they want help. They want to be able to live a good life, but also they don't want to.
But they're stuck in the victim mentality. So you're at a crossroads, meaning whenever you hit a point of that in life, it's like you're being pulled in two different directions. You're like, I want this to change, but I don't want to do what it takes to change because that's too hard.
I don't think they even know that they have to do anything. I think they want the people in their life to do the things so that they can be comfortable and happy. They're totally
you're putting your happiness on someone else.
Right. They're
completely.
Right. So the bottom line is that there is no other person. It's all you. Every person in your life is meant for you. They're messengers in your life, sent by design in the moment for you. It could be the smallest little thing. I just had this the other day, like a tiny thing. And I was like, okay, I have to remember the example because it like will make it more personal. But it was like, okay, stop it. Like this is exactly what's meant for you right now. Like there's something that I need to work on. So yeah, everything just comes really back to self. And when somebody wants their husband to be more successful, find a job, whatever the case may be, where money is lacking. And first of all, I've been there. Like, people are like, they really think that like everybody has it so perfect, and it's always been perfect. It's not been perfect. I've been there. And what I've realized being there, being mad, being critical, being just like unhappy, very quickly I realized it doesn't get me anywhere. Like, you have to pivot fast, or because as women,
otherwise you're just in this, like, I don't know,
you're in
like
a
cycle of misery.
Yeah, a cycle of misery. But also as women, our emotions are so powerful. We don't realize how strong we are. We are the core part. We're like the battery of everything. We have so much power. We're alchemists. We get things to happen. And so that's why they say that the shalom bayis gives shafa and bracha in the home. Mm-hmm. Why? Because when a woman's happy, happy wife, happy life, when the woman's happy, she gives off positive energy, and that brings back success in her husband, and therefore she reaps the rewards. It all starts from her.
Yeah.
And women a lot of times get so upset and so miserable, and they revel in the misery.
My husband is
Why is my husband not doing this to me? And they revel in their misery and when women are angry and resentful, it's so destructive. It's literally taking a fire and burning, like just torching up your home. That's what you're doing and we do that because we have a lot of moments in our head. We cook, we're with our kids. We have a lot of times where we're creating. And when you're in creative mode, you're also in thinking mode. And when your thoughts become like these resentful thoughts,
it's also your future mode.
Destructive.
It's more that you're in future mode. Women, part of taking care of kids, and this is like also where anxiety exists. Anxiety is rooted in the future, which is why so many women have anxiety. But when you're constantly thinking about what it's a biological like thing that's rooted in women, is it comes from being a caregiver, taking care of their kids. They have to protect them. So they're thinking about the next thing that could go wrong. It's something that's biologically part of being a woman.
Yeah.
Women. And
the fears.
So you just, what ends up happening is that you get stuck in the what ifs of like what could go wrong. And it's important to understand that those are there for a reason, but you have to channel it and you have to use it correctly. And you can channel it positively.
Right.
You could also use it to see potential in people, to see how things could be better. There's a lot of vision associated with it.
Right. So I would say when you have a fear, when you have an anxious thought, quickly just find the next best feeling thought. Like, just replace it with something that makes you feel good and happy.
Yeah.
And also take a few minutes during the day, anytime. Even like you can't say I don't have time. You have time. Like, there's moments where you could sit down. I don't care where you do it.
Do it in the bathroom.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And just close your eyes and imagine a feeling that feels good for you, and imagine just a scenario with that feeling. That's all. So what you're doing
is pixie dust.
Yeah, it's you're planting seeds in your brain that will just get nourished and nurtured and what's it called? Fertilized. So you just close your eyes for a few minutes a day. Once a day, it could be twice a day. You could do it in the morning, in your bed, at night, in your bed, whatever. You just are imagining a moment in your life where it gives you all the good feelings. So that alone can cancel out all those like
negative
thoughts that happen throughout the day.
Right. Also, the negative thoughts are, it's like a running commentary, but you don't even realize that it's there sometimes. It's like, at the bottom of the screen, they have like, there's like the news person, and then there's just all that like news that's running along the bottom of the screen. It's like, we don't even realize it, but most of our subconscious thoughts are just like these negative like things.
Totally.
They affect our mood. They affect how we react. They affect our like, I can't think of the word, but whatever. It's really hard to switch to positive thinking. It's something that you have to.
It's a practice.
It's a practice. You have to
intentionally do it. Brain gym. I call it brain gym. It's a real brain gym. You have to it's once a day, once a week you go to the gym, once a day for 3 minutes, you practice your mind. And the more you do it, the more it becomes just like easier and easier. It's not natural, and it's not our natural way because we're so busy surviving for so long. But the way that you can have the most bracha and shefa in your life is by really focusing on your brain. And just be selfish about it.
It's also, you know what neuroplasticity is?
Of course.
Yeah. So like someone gave a really good example. They described it that like if you want a ski slope, right? So the first person when you're young, that first time you go down the slope, you create this line, right? This pathway. And it's the first time you created it. But then what happens is so there are different experiences and you start to develop down the mountain. You're developing all these different paths of like the ski slopes. But then like once you hit a certain age, that's it. You just keep going down the same ski slopes over and over and over again. You're not creating new paths.
Oh, wow.
And if you want to create new paths, it requires so much effort and work. But basically the way that it works is that your neuroplasticity stops at, I think for women it's 20, for men it's 25, which is also when your prefrontal cortex stops developing. And those are like your core experiences. And then after that, if you want to change, it requires insane amounts of hard work. So you have all these negative thoughts or beliefs that are literally like they're grooved into the mountainside, and like you just keep going down. And you don't even realize that you keep going down.
So me and Asana, like I remember it came to a point where we would say things like, "Oh, we can't get that. That's so expensive." And I'm like, "Expensive seems like it's a word that was rooted from both our childhoods, and I don't like that word." I'm like, "We're not saying it anymore. Like we're switching the word." So from then on out, like our word became pricey. Things can be pricey. You know, you could have a $1 sign. You could have a lot of dollar signs.
Yeah.
It's a fact. It's not, there's no emotion involved in it.
Right.
You know, it just is what it is.
It means that like,
expensive means it's Adam, I can't afford it.
I can't afford it.
Price range.
Out of your price range, it's unattainable.
Unattainable.
Pricey just means.
Pricey means there's a lot of dollar signs.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those.
Yeah.
And then we can decide if we want to spend or not, or if it's within our values or not, whatever. But it's unemotional.
Right.
You know, so different things like that. If you could switch around words, or if you could have code words, that creates a new neuroplasticity. That creates a new ski slope. And just being aware, just starting to be aware of your thoughts. You can, before you replace the thoughts, start being aware. Like look at yourself from bird's eye view. Like, oh yeah, I'm thinking something right now that's not nice. Oh, I'm being resentful in my mind. Like, okay, fine. Like watch it.
Right.
Watch it for a couple of weeks. And then when you see it, start like replacing it once a day. Like go slow. Like it's literally like going to the gym with your muscles. Like
It's really fake it till you make it.
Really fake it till you make it.
Like you want to, like I think what a lot of people struggle with is like respecting their spouse if they're not providing for them or they're not performing. And I think that in general, women are also overachievers, like especially now. So they're trying to do everything all at once and it's not sustainable. And then what ends up happening is that, like we talked about roles last time, that like women just have that like hyperactivity, like in all roles, essentially. They're trying to be the mother and the father. And then like a lot of the men just kind of take a back seat. And when you rebalance that.
Men are getting lazier, women are getting crazier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Women are getting more hyperactive and men are doing less.
Men are doing less. So the respect goes down because they see men as these like, you know, good for nothing, lazy, whatever, who are just like always looking to get out of doing everything. And I think that there is a lot of, on both ends, there's so much immaturity there, right? Because the men are essentially escaping. It's like you have the pursuer and you have the withdrawer, which is like a really common dynamic where women are always chasing after the men to do more and men are always just withdrawing and like, leave me alone. And you don't want to be that like shrew, but you also don't want to be that like lazy, good for nothing, like dad. It's just like, or husband or whatever it is. It takes a lot of maturity to start to like shift the balance.
So it comes back to the wife. I really think that it's so annoying that this is how it is because like, why do we have so much?
Right.
But I was just telling someone on Shabbos, I'm like, women are so easy. We're so easy. You literally give us a seed and we turned it into a baby. All we need is a seed. It's nothing. Give us nothing once a day, you know? But for women to get the seed, I think we have to start first. I think we have to just be like,
it's not about giving. It's about letting yourself receive.
Exactly.
It's different. Like with men, it's much more proactive. With women, it's the opposite. So like learning how to like take a step back.
Exactly. So if it's about letting ourselves receive, so just look for the tiny little moments that your husband is amazing. Look for the tiny moments. He's a person. He has a beating heart. He has a brain. Okay. So if he's not making a lot of money or if he's not paying the credit card bills or if he's overwhelmed or if he's looking for a job and he can't find it, I'm not negating it. Those are hard things and really hard. And I know, but there's still moments that he's doing well. So if we look for the tiny little moments that are good, I don't know what it is. Let's say he made you a coffee.
Don't lie to yourself about them providing if they're not providing, but you find they might not be providing financially, but they're giving you something.
They might not be giving you.
Right.
They might not be giving you. They might be existing. They might have beautiful eyes. They might have a very good neshama. They might be very kind to your kids. They might play a Monopoly on Shabbos. There's so many things that they could do that's a beautiful act that you can have consideration for and just acknowledge. And once we do that, once we allow ourselves to acknowledge it, which is essentially we're receiving that goodness and that energy, then it flows back to them and the cycle can start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do the opposite.
Yeah.
We're so good at doing the opposite. Yeah, you did it, but. And like, fine, I guess it's nice, but, but you're not making money. And like, why is that the quintessential act of being a human being? Like, it's not all there is to a person. Of course, it's a huge benefactor of living, but it's not who we are. And this is all being said with me having experienced all of it. Like, I know there was a point where Nizal didn't check the credit cards, and there was a point where we had to cut the credit cards, and he wasn't making money, and then people are going to want to know, but when was the exact date when it switched over? I don't know. I can't tell you that. It doesn't work like that. Like, it's ups and downs. It's 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, 2 steps back. And there's a lot of like, as
but also when you're changing your beliefs, it's not like, so you just flip a switch and then your beliefs are changed.
Right.
You change that. It's gradual, but you could also revert. And then that's when your reality starts to revert a little bit also. And then you move back up and it's a dance. And but then you start to see the patterns and you're able to like almost nip it in the bud before it gets there.
And also there's a real confidence involved because like someone was messaging me and she's like, yeah, but I'm confident. So like, why isn't he making money? I said, maybe you're confident in yourself and you're confident in how you dress, but you seem very unconfident with the person that you married. Maybe you keep saying like, I don't know. So maybe you're very not confident with your decision. So maybe you should start having confidence in your husband and who you married because he was meant for you and you're supposed to be taking this journey together. And if you decide to get divorced because of this and you're so upset that he's not providing for you, then you didn't ace your challenge. You didn't win the test and you're going to get another test. Right. So then you might be upset that you just didn't try the first time.
Right.
And I always tell people, look, imagine yourself as an 86-year-old. What would you say as an 86-year-old looking down? Good decision or shoot, you messed up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think regret is the worst thing. Regret's the worst thing. And like every decision you make, you want to make it with like wholeness. And it might mean that, I think that you'll look back at situations and be like, oh, like I did that for too long or I didn't make this change fast enough. Like there's always hindsight is 20/20. But at the end of the day, if you know that like you stuck with your decisions and like you made them out of a place of, I guess, wholeness.
Right. And you weren't escaping or exiting or quitting.
Looking for the easy way out.
And looking for the easy way out and just
also, if you're looking for the easy way out, you're just going to step into another hard situation.
Exactly.
Because you didn't actually try and fix what was causing that problem. You just ran away from it. So as soon as you're just going to run from that problem and that problem's going to it's going to come right with you.
It's literally follows you like a ghost and it meets you at the door. It just does. We have to do our own work. We have to. Like, we have to wake up. We have to realize that we're not here for nothing. We're not here to buy matching clothes. That's not why we're here. It's just not.
Yeah. I think something that people do a lot also is they're going to take this information and they're going to start trying to mold it into very detailed, specific scenarios. Well, what you're saying is fine and good, but no one has my situation. No one's in a position where like, this is exactly what's happening. And there's really nothing I can do in this situation. It's out of my control.
You're so right. You're so right.
And that's what everyone's going to do. Not everyone. A lot of people are going to take this information and try to apply it on a very detailed level.
And say, it doesn't apply to me.
And say, it doesn't apply. Exactly. It doesn't apply to me on special. But the difference is that the reality is that it does apply. This is on such a meta level and it can be applied on any detail level. Like we just run through examples that maybe we've experienced or we've touched people who've experienced that. There's 1,000 experiences that we've never even thought about or realities that we've never even thought about. But when you have this mindset, it applies to everything.
Right. It applies to everything. Right. It's because it surpasses all the examples and it surpasses personalities and different wirings. It goes straight to the energetic level.
Yeah.
And once you're dealing with energy, it's a technology. And when you figure out the technology, it all works.
Right. Like people will start saying, okay, well, how come this person has money? And how come that person has money? And how come that person has money? And it's like, you're not seeing the energy there. Like, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what.
Hold on. What about the people that have money, but their life is so full of chaos and everything constantly
Right, but people don't see that because all they're going to notice, it's like, let's say if you have this thing where like you're self-conscious about a certain body part. So all you notice is everyone that has that like better version of it. Like, so when you are, let's say, hung up on money or lack of money, then you're going to notice everyone around you who does have money.
I know, you
don't see anything else that's
not
going
true
on in your life.
I notice people that have money and they look very calm and I like their life. And then you see people that have money, but like there's always a drama. There's always something. Yeah. There's always like another thing that they're dealing with. It's like whack-a-mole. Like there's always whack-a-mole going on. Like I don't want that kind of money. And maybe it's because their energy isn't right. Their energies are not aligned or, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying. The energy in their life, the chaos that's in their life has nothing to do with the fact that they have money. They're two separate things. So like we talked about like manifesting, we had discussed this earlier, but there are people that
I don't agree. I think the people that have chaos, the money comes in, the money flies out. Like they're making it and it's going. They can never catch it because they're totally not aligned with who they are.
Right.
The energies are not right. So yeah, you can make a lot of money. It doesn't mean that it's going to stay or stick around.
Right.
So it does align. They're the same.
It does align, but I'm saying they could have chaos when it comes to personal relationships and not necessarily chaos when it comes to money. It's not always the same energy.
Right. Okay.
Like it's just, like you could say, well, they struggle with this and this and this. How come they get money? Right. People are trying to like equate struggles or challenges or deficiencies that people have. And they're like, well, I'm a better person than them. So how come I don't have money and they do? Like, right. And comparing is just a deadly game to begin with. It's just not something.
Right. You just don't know the whole entire package.
You don't ever know what's going on behind the scenes ever.
Right.
But
you also their past life, where they're coming from.
Right.
Like there's all that.
Right.
There's tons of that. So we're just seeing a snippet.
Right. And I think that sometimes people, we were talking about this earlier, is that sometimes people, when it comes to money, they just have such a surety, like it's like just not even an option for them to not have it, which is why they have it. They have such a strong belief.
There's a belief. It's legit amuna.
Yeah, it's a belief.
They're amuna.
And the way that they make the money, it could be a bajillion different ways. It could be it's someone who's penny pinching. It could be someone who's a big spender. It could be, it has nothing to do with how you live.
Your belief is always a few steps ahead of you and you're going to catch up to it and it's going to show you exactly where you were a few steps behind.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So if that's the way you believe and you know that you're going to make the money, then that's the way you believe and you know that you'll make the money.
Yeah.
And if you believe that by working hard, you have to work 9 to 5, so you'll have to work 9 to 5. Your belief literally comes first. If you believe that the happiness in your life is only going to be because of your husband, then you might be challenged with your husband that is making you on purpose unhappy so that you can learn how to be happy without him. Your belief is showing you
right.
that.
Even if sometimes people have it, even if they have a great husband, it has nothing to do with how their husband's acting. You just can't put your happiness in the hands of other people. Like, you just can't. At the end of the day, like, you're your own, like, source of happiness. And then the people around you, when you are happy, then you can accept the happiness and what people have around you to give. And it adds to your happiness.
Right.
But if you yourself aren't happy, no matter what good comes into your life, you're not going to appreciate it because you, at your core, are miserable and unhappy. So, yeah, your husband might be making you miserable. Your financial state might be making you miserable. Or lack of husband might be making you miserable, or a person in your family, anyone might be, like, all those people, really it's just coming back to you. If you're happy and you make yourself happy, then what those people do won't affect you.
Right, exactly.
For good or for bad. So for the good, you can receive it. The bad won't affect you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's so true. I was just telling that to my son the other day because, like, he was getting all mad because he wanted to bring his flip phone to Florida. And I was like, yeah, no, we're not going to do that. So for the rest of the day, the rest of the night, he was just in the worst mood and he was like sulking and like, then I'm like, enough. No. I'm like, by you sulking and being in a bad mood, we both know you're not in a bad mood. You're happy. You're going to Florida. Quit it. Like, shut it down. I'm like, you're not going to change my mind by being in a bad mood. So you're just going to like ooze out all these like just gross vibes so that I could get like just so cornered that I'll decide to say yes. I'm like, first of all, it's making me want to say no more, but also like be happy. I'm like, it's the same thing with Hashem. Like the happier we are, the more he wants to give us. I'm like, if you're going to be miserable not bringing your flip phone to Florida, then stay home. I don't want you to come, you know? And like, it was just such a good Musar Haskell for life. Like the more
it's not just, it's like as, it's a great lesson to teach him as like a spouse, especially because it's like, you can't just, when you don't get something you want, you can't just be in a bad mood. It's affecting everyone around you. It's like, it's bad.
But also it's not good. It's just not good tactics because it makes nobody want to do what you want. So like if, and then on a manipulation level, I was teaching him, like, just on that level, do the opposite. Be smarter, you know? Say thank you. Say, like, have gratitude, have appreciation, look for the good, because literally Hashem wants us to do the same thing. The more we say thank you, the more he gives us.
Right.
You know, the more we look for the little things. So like, yeah, it's about noticing the people in your life who are just being good people and like appreciating that. So it's appreciating and having gratitude for them and to Hashem. Like there's so many things. It could always be worse. Always. You have so many little things in your life that are so amazing. Like there's someone in the hospital on a bed right now that will do anything to trade lives with you. Anything. Lives with you. Anything. So like just looking for the tiniest little nuances of goodness in your life. We all have that. And then it comes back.
Yeah. And you start to see more and more of it.
Yeah. Like, why wouldn't you want to do that? Why do you have to sit around and say life's annoying? Just say life's good. Like, it's the same thing. So yeah, it's about gratitude, and about being mindful and taking a few minutes out of your day to imagine the feeling that you want to be in.
Right.
And also sitting with yourself and saying, what do I want? What do I really want?
Ownership of your reality. Like, it's like you own your happiness. You own your reality. So your husband's not forcing that on you. The reason why it's in your life is because you need that. And it's your reality. It's not his.
It's surrender. It's just about surrendering. Yeah.
Surrender. And it's like, this is what was put into my life. How do I make the most of it right now?
And you could also say, what if? So I always talk about what if good. Like, what if this could be amazing? But also play a game with yourself. What if bad? What if he never makes money?
Yeah.
What if I'll have to work? What if, like, and then think about it. Are you going to die? Like, go so far all the way, answer all the questions until you get to like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you have to surrender and you have to just accept it. Okay, so I'm happy. I'll find a job that I love and I'll wake up every morning and I'll put on clothes that I'm happy to wear and I'll look good and I'll whatever, and I'll buy clothes on sale, whatever it is for you, whatever makes you happy, those little joyous moments during the day. And you'll say, okay, so for the next 20 years until my kids get married, this is going to be my life. Just surrender into it. The feeling of surrender is so strong because that feeling gives you so much menucha and openness. It opens your heart. Just opens you up. And with that openness, you can see your life in such a different perspective.
It's like they say that grief or anger, really, anger is rooted in denial. So anger is rooted in denying you're fighting what your reality is. And then the anger just leads to more negative feelings and more negative thoughts and more negative emotions, which just keeps the negative reality like in existence. And when you accept it, then you don't have that anger, which gets rid of the negativity. And then that's when there's room for things to change.
Exactly.
We keep talking about it in the dynamic of like husband versus wife. Sometimes you have situations where it's husband and wife together, meaning they're not antagonistic towards each other about the lack of money, but they just feel at a loss of like what to do about their financial situation. So you keep saying, oh, my husband did this to me, my husband. What if like the two of you are a partnership? Like there are situations where you're a partnership, but then it's just, you know,
what me and Asanal did is we read books together. It really helped us. We read Emunah books and we read this book called Happy Pocket Full of Money. It's really not even about money. It's just like such a good book. It's so good. And we read it together and it really formed this just like this an alignment.
Yeah.
So I would really suggest just a couple read a book together every night during dinner time.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you loved this episode, please like it, comment, subscribe, follow us at Yaeli Vogel across Instagram and TikTok, and Yaeli Fine Art for just the art. And you can sign up for our emails. When you sign up, you get 20% off your first purchase. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Can't wait to produce more content for you.